Hello and welcome back to another video. Now, I was debating doing this for a while because I was unsure whether I should, but today I'm going to be reviewing the 1975's Note on a Conditional Form. Now, obviously, no bias because I am in no way a 1975 fan. So, moving on with that. I listened to this album when it first came out, and at first I loved it. I was like,
oh my god, this is so fucking sick. They've really just made music.
Going back to it now, I realise that there's a lot of errors and a lot of things that I actually don't like about this album. Because at first I thought this was my favourite album, not of all time, but definitely by them. But going back to it, especially after having a few days to listen to other 1975 albums, this might be one of the weaker ones for me, to be honest. So the way I thought we'd do this is we'd go by track and talk about each track, what I like, what I don't like, and then have an overall opinion at the end. So obviously as the album starts, we start with the same song as we have done for the last four albums now. Fuck, they've done 4 albums. The album starts off with Greta Thunberg doing a piece on the global crisis to do with global warming. Obviously, I give props to the 1975 and obviously Thunberg herself for doing such an important song, especially right at the beginning of your album. Obviously, if you're starting out, you usually want to introduce people to what this album's sort of going to be about. I don't think the song has a meaning within the album. I don't think anything sort of relates back to it, but I do think that it's something good to start on because the 1975 obviously have a lot of fans and they're doing very well for themselves at the minute. But to start it on such a positive and reinforcing message, I think was a good move by them. It is what it is. It's an intro. It's got the same instrumentation as the other albums, except unlike the other albums, this one obviously has a narrative to it, which works. Obviously it's a good message, as I said, but it is what it is. Now, moving on to the first proper song of this album, People. I'm still unsure on this song. In a live environment, it works really well. I saw them at Manchester and I saw them in Sheffield last year as well. And in a live environment, the audience go mad. Every single time that drum beat starts, people are like, "Ah, they're playing People!"
Mosh!
I understand the meaning of the song and the lyricism of the song, but the style, I think, doesn't work for them. They've established themselves as this big electronic band that can do all of these really cool things with synths and brass and sax and all of this shit. So I think then tipping that all on its head didn't work for them because they've essentially made a metal song, but not too metally. And I think given what they've done previously, it doesn't fit with them as a band. I think in an individual environment, if they'd done it as just a normal single that didn't have any place within this album, it could have worked. It could have been, we're trying something new, here's something new, we hope you like it. But I've seen a lot of people also say,
"What the fuck is this? What are you doing?"
I'll get this out of the way now because I don't think I'm really going to talk about it much this album. I'll get this out of the way now because I'm not going to talk about it much during this review, but obviously the production on this is fucking amazing. Fair play, I can't criticise it, mainly because, you know, I know fuck all. But overall, this album sounds incredible. People, for me, was a very weird one. Like I said, I get what Matty is trying to say, but I definitely think that if you had done it in a different style, you could still get the same message across, but not like this. So for me, this one's a bit of a... Music for Cars comes up next. It reminds me of the first album type of the 1975. Very glooming nature to it. Very atmosphere heavy. Listen to all of these different strings and samples that we know how to use. Bringing it into a story standpoint. I think that this is the 1975 that I'm more aware of than the one that I heard in the last song where Matty's wearing a fucking wig screaming like, "People like people! Fuck Obama!" I definitely think going forward they should have stuck to their roots knowing this sort of song rather than the last one for sure. God, I can already tell that this album is going to be fucking Now, Frail State of Mind is easily one of my favourite tunes on this album. It outlines mental health and anxiety in terms of sociability, and that's something that I can relate to, something that I experience quite a lot. So listening to this, not only do we have a very groovy, synth-heavy, sample-based song, but we have a song that also provides a good message, and it's something that you can definitely listen to and go, fuck, yeah, I completely get what you mean and where you're coming from with this. The guitar blends in really well as well. It sort of comes in with a mini-esque solo, but not, it's more of a riff hook. It gets stuck in my head so fucking much, that fucking is so fucking catchy. Think about when it gets about 2 minutes in, it becomes more fulfilled, more complete, and I love it. The build up to getting to that point, and when we finally get there, it's just a very feel-good song about something that shouldn't really make you feel good. And as weird as that sounds, it works. The next song is Streaming. Oh, streaming. So famous for making people make so much money. Now, this is one of my gripes with this fucking album. This song is so obviously an intro or a filler in this album that will lead into the next song. But I didn't really understand the need for it to have its own place in the album. I mean, this album runs at fucking 22 songs. 22 fucking songs. And I think about 5 of them aren't even songs. This particular one runs at about 1.5 minutes, and it just bored me. It comes across as I can't fucking talk. Jesus. It comes across as quite tossy and a bit...
Well, look at me.
I don't really like it, to be honest. I definitely think this album has a lot of pretentiousness to it, for sure. Now, leading on from Streaming, it goes into Birthday Party, which I think Streaming could have just been the intro to Birthday Party, but as the Birthday Party, not as its own individual thing. The Birthday Party is a fun song, given its lyricism and obviously what it's about. It's quite a personal song to Matty, obviously about the internet and the culture of the internet and experiences throughout his past with it, and also how it affects him and what it makes him do. Unfairly, maybe, the one thing that really griped me with this song that kind of puts me off a little bit was the video. I understand what he was trying to go for, but it seems to me like he's just trying to pull in new people by going,
haha, we made a video. You know those haha memes you like? Pepe the Frog. That's relevant. Stick that in. Well, you're going to fucking love this video because there's loads of Pepe Frog.
Don't get me wrong, I like the song. The song is good. The song is fun. The song is... It is 1975. But I feel after watching the video, it spoiled it for me because I can't stop thinking about that fucking video whenever I listen to it. It's just... I know it's a very small, minute part of it, but it just bothers me because all I can think about is the fucking memes going around on a unicycle and an animated Matty walking around and then making out with himself, and it's just weird. Definitely fair play for using the vocals and the electronics to tell a really good story, to be honest. It's definitely a storytelling song. Then we have Yeah, I Know.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, that's really fucking relevant. People still watch Little Britain, right?
I got Radiohead vibes from this as soon as it started. The instrumentation is my favourite part of this entire song. The vocals, I don't really feel like Matty puts that much effort into. I don't know if that's what he's trying to portray or what he's trying to put across, but it just feels like you've got the rest of the band making this incredible leeway for him, and he's just but initially listening to this, I felt very it paints such a good electronic picture, and Matty just kind of dampens it with such slack vocals. I've got fucking whiplash from how many fucking styles this fucking album's going through. I need to go to the hospital. Next we have Then Because She Goes. They tried to keep some sort of similar style by adding in electronic vocals, but in this sense it doesn't fit at all. It feels like a summer love song, but with the addition of them vocals it kind of jars it. So one side of it you've got,
hey, everyone should be in love,
and then the other side of it you've got, and it just, the vocals are trying to just vocalize not really much. It's just sort of an addition to it that's just been auto-tuned to fuck. It doesn't fit together well at all. It's definitely one of the weaker and more forgettable songs on this album. Jesus Christ 2005, God Bless America. A very sweet guitar line to lead us in, and the brass section in the background is fucking beautiful. Some of the lyrics just make me cringe, to be honest. One of the first lines that Matty says is, "I'm in love with Jesus Christ. He's so nice."
Yeah, I've got a really good idea for a song. So we're going to write a song about Jesus Christ. And I've got this lyric, right? It's going to blow your fucking tits off. I love Jesus Christ.
Right, okay. What you're going to do now, you're going to have some sort of lyric on, the judgment of society today, or you're going to have some sort of thing that really brings up social issues?
No, it is. I love Jesus Christ. He's so nice.
I didn't feel much creativity for the lyrics in this song at all. Like I said, maybe I'm missing the mark, but it just not for me. The melody in the pre-chorus and the chorus is very soothing and nice, and that definitely made it a better song for me. But I think Phoebe Bridgers definitely took over from Matty in this. And I know that there's a version that exists with just her vocals doing the entire song. I would have preferred to have heard that version, learned to speak. I would have preferred to have heard that version rather than this. Roadkill made me want to be Roadkill because I am so fucking unsure about this song. I hate to like this song. I really do. The instruments give me big fucking country vibes, but Matty still tries to make it 1975-y by putting more auto-tune electronic vocals over some of it, because,
That's what will fucking work.
the I know section is really nice, and that's probably my favourite part of the song, and probably one of the only really good things I can say that I actually liked about the song. It's such a fucking weird choice. I don't understand some of the thought processes about this album, about what they thought would work and what wouldn't, and somehow this made it onto there. I lose attention for this song very quickly. Now, Me and You Together song replicates that fucking American Pie vibe. That really happy, falling in love,
Finally got laid. Way condom.
that sort of vibe. I think this song replicates that perfectly. It's just a happy song. And if obviously you've watched the music video, you know that I think the American Pie vibe is what they really went for. A party, people having sex, people, doing unspeakable things like kissing. This is one of my favourites of the album. There's 3 general sections. You've got your verse, your chorus, and your bridge. There is an outro, but it just kind of plays on what the verse has done with different ways of singing it and playing it. There's, instead of going to the 4th to the 7th fret, it sort of goes to the 5th to the 4th on the E string. It's pretty much the same thing, but just with slight differences. But it is good at repeating itself and keeping you enticed in it, and I fucking love this song. I think there's something that you should know. There's something that I think you should know, and that's this song is just pure fucking filler. Again, I got nothing at all from this track. It was just It's really just there to cut up the album, make it a little bit longer, try and add some variety into it, but it doesn't. And I definitely think that's one thing that this album suffers from, and that's so many tracks that don't have a place in it. They're not needed. Now, Nothing Revealed, Everything Denied is next, and this reminded me of If I Believe You from their second album, which has the most pretentious long fucking name I've ever heard, ever. And I'm actually pretty sure it's the same sample. The addition of the choir really fulfills me, as well as the organ. Matty starts singing then with a pinch of auto-tune on. This is something that I thought that KSI's album suffered from, and that was the use of auto-tune when it's just, not needed. And this is definitely one of them songs. The song starts out really nicely and sort of grounds itself, but then it's just sort of flipped on its head with auto-tune. Why? Why do we need it? You can be an electronic band without the use of overbearing auto-tune. Tonight I Wish I Was Your Boy. This intro reminds me of them. When you go on YouTube, you just type in chilled study vibes, and it comes up with that picture of the girl sat at a desk that's obviously been drawn, and it's just 6 hours long. The intro to this is very much like that. That is what this song is. The intro for that is just that song. You know the song I'm talking about. You know the one where it's like you're 2 hours into essay depression and you're just ready to slam your head into a fucking fucking door. Something I definitely don't know about. I don't really care for the song. Yeah, it's put together fairly well, to be honest, but I don't really have that much admiration for it. Shiny Collarbone. Oh, fab. Another filler. And a boring one. Uses the most ridiculous sample at like 2 minutes. Why? What's the fucking point? What? If you're too shy, let me know.
Fuck! I love this song!
What a fucking banger. I think that this song is what the album should have been. Overall, this to me is what the 1975 is. Upbeat, funky. Obviously, not all of the songs are upbeat that have done commercially well. But I definitely think that this album, considering it's 22 tracks long, should have cut out a lot of the tracks, followed the outline for this song, and just gone with that instead. This song is probably the best song on the album, and that's because it's so funky and it's so them. This is, to me, what they are. Upbeat, funky, with electronics, with a bit of saxophone, singing. It's just a fun song, and I know for a fact that, obviously from seeing them live, that this is the most praised song probably of this album, and there's a reason for that, and that's because this is the sound that we all know. And you can change your sound, obviously, please change it up, but they've tried to change it to such an extent that they've started to become foreign and unfamiliar. I've noticed that a lot during quite a lot of these songs, is that I don't think I'm listening to the 1975, I'm listening to a completely different band that are still trying to be the 1975. Playing on My Mind gives me Nana vibes from their second album.
I quite like it.
It is your generic acoustic-y 1975 song, the sad dampening vocals over the top of an acoustic guitar. It's nothing too special, but it's their style, and this song pulls it off well. Having No Head, a confused and diluted filler of a song. It tries to mix so many things together, but just comes out as a very confused, messy song. I came more confused out of this song than I did
Listening to a fucking Jake Paul song.
What should I say? Now, this reminds me of the typical chart songs you get, where you get the standard bass beat and a it doesn't fit well for this band at all. Especially being good leaders of mixing some genres and elements together, that I do sort of sit here sometimes and think whether they all got into the studio, just basically took a shit in the studio and said, you know what, stick that on the album. This is a song that definitely should have been left out, in my opinion. It just doesn't gel well within this very convoluted album. The backing female sample is very catchy, but that's about all the positives for this song. Bagsy, Not in the Net. Another film. Next. Don't Worry. Auto-tuned to fucking high heaven. It's a nice song lyrically. I don't care for it that much. I got bored, guys. Now, this song is a beautiful ode that Matty has obviously written for his bandmates. It really shows an emotionally open side to him, basically publicly saying to everyone, look how much I love my bandmates, look at how much I love what I do, and look how appreciative I am. And fair play to him for that. It comes across. Obviously, if you've seen the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. It has a clip show of him showing all these different clips of them throughout the years. And it's a nice song to end on, because 1975 being the 1975 are so fucking confused on whether they're coming or going. They've said they're splitting up, but they're not, but they are, but they're becoming the same band but with a different name, but now they're not. No matter what happens now, whether they don't play music together anymore or whether they start another band, that this will be a very good song to look back on and go, okay, so all the time that they did have together he appreciated. And you know, it's a very generic bog standard song, pop song. I think with Matty, he definitely overtakes this song 100%, and it's really emotionally indulging, especially if you've been a fan for over the years, so fair play to them. Overall, this album is weird. This album is just fucking weird. I don't know whether I like it. I like a few songs off it, and that's about it, to be honest. I definitely think that they should have cut out a lot of the piss that's in this and made it a more complete, confident album rather than just chucking in a bunch of autotune and going, ha!
That'll work. That'll get their money.
I mean, obviously, I understand the trying something new and trying to mix things together, but surely in your fourth album you should be able to realize what works and what doesn't. I think with them trying all this new stuff, they've probably learnt what does work and what doesn't, because people have been very vocal about it, as I am right now. But I think going on from this, if they decide to make another album and they've not, fucking deleted all the social media, then I think the way they should go is in the footsteps of If You're Too Shy, because that was the best song, it worked, and it's them. I definitely think continuing on, that'd be the right path to take. So yeah, thank you. This has been another album review. I know a lot of people are expecting me to be very biased towards this album because, like I said, I'm obviously not a 1975 fan. But nevertheless, I didn't really care for this album that much. I was very excited for it until I heard it. I was very disappointed, I'd say. It's got good songs, but that's about it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you disagree with me, then why don't you comment and tell me to go fuck myself. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and share and subscribe, and have a good day.